All right, it's media day. We are talking with James Clancy at Klein Cain. And Coach Clancy, we got a 15-6A that a lot of it's familiar. I mean, you guys been fighting out for playoff spots all the time, but you bring in two highly successful 5A Magnolia schools that have made the playoffs religiously. They're now in, making it even more difficult to get one of those spots. Just maybe give me your overall overview of this district.
Obviously, I'm biased, but I've always felt that, 15-6A top to bottom was one of the most competitive, toughest district around. And then obviously adding two quality programs like Magnolia and Magnolia West is only going to make that road to get that 11th game that much tougher. And not just in football. I mean, just across the board. I mean, look at in all sports, it's going to be extremely competitive. And we kind of maybe had a sense that that was the direction that realignment was going. Of course, you never know, when you show up there how things are going to turn out. But when it did, it became a reality that the growth on this side of Houston is dictating that those areas come together, and it's going to be you have to bring it every week like you always have, but now it's just going to bring it 1 week more.
Absolutely. It's funny because you look at this district from the teams you did have, there's some things that you've learned over the last couple of years. Klein Cain is going to bring that crazy defense. Last year and years before, Tomball Memorial just puts up ridiculous points offensively. Then you have Tomball who does whatever they can in the regular season and then gets busy in the playoffs. And then you have a good mixture of both because you look at your roster, especially a guy like Trent Lancaster that just gets to the ball so quickly. I maybe want to talk about that defense first because he's going to be the leader of that defense. Am I correct?
Trent has always been an outstanding leader for us ever since his first varsity season as a sophomore. I mean, he's already the school's leading tackler holder in for our school history, and he's only going to add to that. Um, you know, he's an old school football player, tremendous leader, really cares about all aspects of the game, enjoys the process. He's a great practice player. He's one of those guys that as a head coach, you're glad he's on your team. And he is definitely somebody that has earned the right to be out in front, and in terms of his production and in terms of his work ethic and year round. And he's a special football player, and it's one of those that I'm going to try to enjoy having him as long as I can. And then whenever he goes beyond us, he's going to do some great things.
Yeah, I didn't realize he was devastating the playoff or the record book like that, but I guess he
Yes,
is.
sir. Yeah, I mean he almost has 300 tackles in 2 seasons. I mean
That's
it's
crazy.
he's a special young man.
That's wild because you look at his tape and it's he's kind of like that dog you have on a leash. And as soon as you hear that sound, I want you to attack. And that sound is the ball being hiked, and then he's
Yeah,
right there popping it. But he's not alone.
he's extremely active.
He's not alone back there. I mean, you have DJ Morin coming back, who's the new defensive newcomer of the year. Talk about
Mhm.
some of the other players you have on defense that may surprise some folk.
Well, we're returning our entire secondary, which we've never had that before. So we have AJ Kraft, who is a starting free safety as a sophomore, and he's coming back, and we're looking for some great things from him. And then you have Marcus Coleman and Scooty Carroll, starting outside at corners. Obviously looking for some production out of them as returning. Marcus being a returning all district corner, and then obviously both of them being 12-game starters. And then on the defensive line, returning Darius Lewis is a returning starter, returning Letterman, who is highly productive, and he's going to have to replace Tyler Edwards, who had a bunch of tackles for losses last year, and so he understands that he's going to have to step up in that regard in terms of production. So we're definitely excited about the kids that we have coming back.
Well, and if we flip it to the offensive side, this is obviously a district where you're going to have to score points too. I don't know if 20 is going to do it in a lot of the games. You're going to have to put up some points, and you're replacing the quarterback. So who are we looking at quarterback? And you do seem to have the pieces. A couple of good receivers coming back, and I know you got Jalen coming back at running back. Talk to me who you got looking at quarterback and who might step up there.
Last year we had a sophomore that got some playing time in Leonard, Zach Johnson, and
Okay.
he's been running with the first group during the spring. And then we have Andre Phillip, who was a freshman that has also been getting some reps, with the varsity guys and with the first group. And so we feel like for the first time in a long time we got some guys with some multiplicity and producing some competition within the quarterback room. Zach's had an outstanding offseason, outstanding spring, and the summer's off to a good start. So we're excited where he's at. But as a coach, you can never have too many good players, right? And so, for us, it's our job as coaches to take these guys that we feel like can produce and put them in the right spots to do so.
And they're going to have some guys to throw to. I mean, it's a luxury to have two first-team receivers coming back, and Blaine Bullard and Max. Talk about, especially Blaine. He's the unanimous selection coming back. Talk about those guys.
They're great kids, man. They're both of them 3-year letterman, 3-year starters. Right along with Trent, Lancaster. Those guys have been producing, for our program for multiple seasons, and it's just you get them to their senior year, and as a coach, you just kind of obviously you want to make sure that you put the best plan together for them to have success, but you also want to enjoy that amount of time that you've spent together. 3 years, back-to-back by-district titles and a district title in 2022. I mean, they've experienced a lot of success. And so for us as coaches, like having guys like Blaine, who's both Blaine and Max are multi-sport varsity athletes. And so they've done a lot for our school, and they've had a lot of success. So this is, it's a special last ride for us with them. And so, we're excited to see how they produce their senior years, and they've certainly been doing everything they need to do to prepare to have great seasons. But I think the thing you can't put a finger or a price on is, the ability for them to be great leaders. But, both of those kids are outstanding young men, and they take care of their business in the classroom. They're good teammates. They're a joy to coach. So, I'm going to be pretty selfish when I get to be around them this year.
I can dig it. I guess lastly about the team, in those couple practices before the season starts, is there an area of the field that you're going to be looking at to see somebody step up where graduation may have taken away from? And you're like, right now we're doing this interview in June. Right now you're thinking, man, I got this guy penciled in here, here, and here, but there may be a position where you're a little bit nervous.
Sure. I think that anytime you replace experience in the trenches, on both sides of the ball. I mean, like, in 15-6A, you got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to run the football to win, and that's as long as, I've been in Klein ISD, whether it's being an assistant at Oak or, being the head coach here. It's an extremely physical district. The programs in this district take pride in being physical. So I think that, whenever you graduate guys on offense and defensive line, you're looking to see how those units are going to gel. We're very fortunate to have, another 3-year returning starter in Austin Redio at right guard, who's, back-to-back unanimous right guard all district first team in 15-6A. So, he's an excellent player, and he's just as impactful in the trenches as Trent is at linebacker, or Blaine or Max is at receiver. So we're looking, for him to be a leader up front. He's got to replace, leadership-wise, got to replace an All-American and Gibson Pyle, who went to Nebraska. And then you have Nash Langgang, who's a returning all-district center. So, those are two good pieces in the internal core. But then, we got to replace 3 starters, on the offensive line, which, we have some guys that played some but didn't carry the full load. So, they obviously have to step up. And then defensively, we lost a lot of production. As I mentioned, Tyler Edwards is going to Lamar. And, the 2 defensive ends that were productive for us. So, we got to work cut out for us up front in a district that prides itself in being really good, in the trenches. So, as a head coach, I think that's where the games are won and lost. So that's always kind of where my eyes go to making sure that we're sound and solid with our plan, and then also what personnel we put there.
I can dig it. I guess before I let you go, you only got the 2 non-district games before you get right into district play. Who are those 2 games, and what do you hope to learn from your squad out of those?
So we open up with Cy-Fair High School on Thursday, and you'll be over at the Berry Center on Thursday, August 29th. And then we'll turn around and play College Park at home on a Saturday. And then we jump right into it with both feet in district play against the Klein Bearcats on week 3. So we gotta find our stride real quick. That's the thing about the 9-team district is there's not a lot of trial and error. You got to figure it out, and you got to go. So,
I like that motto. Can't jack around. I got you. Get busy. All right, Coach. I appreciate you joining us, man, and we can't wait to see you guys take the field in August.
Yes, sir. Anytime. I appreciate you.